Nah, they don't care none. Badges, they don't wear none. But soon enough, we'll all be shooting back at you. Really ain't a fucking thing you can do. We got way more guns, we got way more goons. If we stand our ground when the bullets fly, they call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. When you meet your maker, you can ask him why. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. You better get fucking ready. You better wake up. If you think this shit's fucking just some social media shit, you ain't paying attention. 3 things are true. Number 1, the black community told us this shit for years. We didn't listen. Number 2, ICE is a white supremacist wet dream. And number 3, the government's not going to save you.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Checking into the stream. August 6th. What is it? Thursday. This week's flying by. This week is flying by. Good stream today. I'm actually going to go out and do some batting practice with a couple of my teammates a little later. So I'll be streaming that on my softball channel. But, you know, been nice to just get back to the daily news streams. I am live on Twitch as well. Haven't seen anybody over there quite yet check in. I am trying to build up the Twitch a little bit. An Islamic Center was just vandalized in Ohio. I can look into that. Thank you, Herbs Fexer. I can definitely look into that one. That type of behavior will continue. In the San Diego mosque in Ohio. Looks like it happened a week ago. A deadly attack at a mosque in San Diego. No, that's not the same thing. I'm not seeing any news stories about it yet. Stories of a Central Ohio Muslim community takes precautions after fatal San Diego shooting. I see news stories from May. Hello, see you next Tuesday. Hello. Thank you for the jewels. How you guys doing? Check in. Let me know there's Prime Evil. There you go, Ken. We need Twitch chat check-ins right away. What up, Cindy? I see a Vicky over there on Facebook. Regina. Hello, how you doing? You said Mitch McConnell has been discharged. Mitch McConnell. He's alive, actually, huh? You guys think that? He's alive for real? Stop it. Oh, boy. Like everything, when I type in, yeah, you got Fox News posted it. Mitch McConnell is heading home after being discharged from rehab, but his return to the Senate doesn't appear imminent. Brother. McConnell said in a statement, on the advice of my doctors, I'll maintain an intensive regimen of physical therapy from home during the state work period, and I'll continue to engage with my staff and colleagues on important Senate business. Like what? The hell Senate business you need to do? Like they're out of session until after the midterms now. Oh my goodness. Mitch McConnell ain't even... This is crazy.
Senator Mitch McConnell says he's at home after being released from rehab. The Kentucky Republican discharged earlier today and will continue to recover.
Regina says, yeah, he's going home to the funeral home.
In his own state. This comes almost 2 months after the 84-year-old was hospitalized following that fall and mild case of pneumonia.
We know, Kira, that he's been released from a rehabilitation facility. His office has released a statement from the 84-year-old 7-term Kentucky senator, former Republican.
I don't want to hear nothing about Republicans when they're like, you got 7 terms. 7 terms. Mitch McConnell. There he is.
Republican leader, the longest-serving party leader in Senate history. McConnell says in this statement that on the advice of his doctors, he'll maintain an intensive regimen of physical therapy from home during the state work period. That's the formal term.
42 years.
The August recess. He says he'll continue to engage with his staff and colleagues on important Senate business. But what's important to point out here is that it's been nearly 2
Whoever did the social media for this is awesome.
Since his Senate colleagues last saw Mitch McConnell, he was hospitalized on June 14th for reasons that were not initially disclosed.
Jump scare.
About a month later, on July 12th, his office said that he was hospitalized because of a fall that left him briefly unconscious. He also said he had to deal with a mild case of pneumonia.
Now, these are people that should be leading the country for sure, and not just like living their last few years with their family. This is who needs to be making big decisions, especially Mitch McConnell, who's been doing it for 42 years. Give it up. You're done. Sit the bench. Get him out of there. You need to, you know what? Abdul needs to add old people out of politics too, to his little thing. What does he say? Money out of politics, money in your pockets, Medicare for all. He's go like money out of politics, old people out of politics. Like, bro, what the like? Seriously?
Tell us what's going on with Senator McConnell. We haven't had any updates. Is he doing better? Do you by happen to know if he or
is he alive?
Us, did he sign that July 28th letter, or was that an auto pen from the office?
God dang.
I know people in Kentucky are getting frustrated that
hit her with the auto pen.
They have missed over 46 roll call votes, so anything you can provide us on his current status, I think would be greatly appreciated.
Not the Mitch McConnell auto pen.
Do you think it's fair that your office and the other staffers are still getting paid while Kentuckians go without representation?
Oof.
No comment to any of this?
No comment?
All right, thank you.
Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Nothing. No. So that's Mitch McConnell. Let me see anything else here. Oh wow, CNN breaking news. McConnell says he's been discharged from rehab and he'll continue recovery at home. Okay, so this news just came in within the last hour. I do not need to sub. Are you serious? They're making you subscribe to read CNN articles now? It's over. It's so done. Journalism at a mainstream level is done. That's wow. I have to pay to read CNN articles now. Get the hell out of here. Someone laundered it. Let's go, Wisconsin State Journal. Fuck. KHOU. Hell yeah. There we go. Hell yeah. I have to buy a subscription to read. That's crazy. AP. Oh, you're right. AP probably did an article. I never had to sub to CNN to read their articles. I think Politico is free. Should be. There you go. Senator Mitch McConnell announced Thursday he's leaving rehab to return home after a fall earlier this summer left him hospitalized. In a statement, McConnell thanked the medical staff who helped him during his stay, but added that he will not be returning to Washington just yet. On the advice of my doctors, I'll maintain an intensive regimen of physical therapy from home during the state work period, and I'll continue to engage with my staff and colleagues on important Senate business. He said that? I don't think he said that at all. McConnell, 84, was rushed to the hospital on June 14th following a fall and what he described as a mild case of pneumonia. He later told constituents that while he was briefly knocked unconscious, he did not suffer any broken bones, a stroke, or a heart attack. His absence from Congress has been met with frustrations about what have some called a lack of transparency. Kentucky Democratic Governor Andy Beshear last week demanded the senator resign if he couldn't directly and verbally address the people of Kentucky. with proof of your capacity to serve. McConnell has suffered severe health challenges in recent years, including a fall taken while leaving the Senate chamber that briefly left him using a wheelchair. He announced last year that he would not seek re-election at the end of his current term. 84-year-old senator said that while he has been discharged, he's not yet returning. The fact it's sick. People voted for him back. That's elder abuse. If you voted for Mitch McConnell for another term, especially after 7 terms, you're sick. Imagine voting for Mitch McConnell. I can imagine, like, you live in Kentucky, but then you're voting for Mitch McConnell, running it back 7 times. He's been in office for, like, Jesus, dude. That's the problem we have. That's one of the problems. It's not the problem. It's not the only problem. We have many, but that is one of them. One of them, because like they don't have any, like, honestly, like, you see examples of, rifts in the, well, I don't know. I guess it's a rift because establishment influencers are crying, but how you have like younger energy in the Democratic Party. It's crazy because in the right wing, you don't have a young energy. You do, but it's in Turning Point USA, and I think Israel killed their leader. But now it went right back to the old people. Like, Trump is not new energy. It's crazy because Trump in 2016 was the new Republican energy, but he's still old. He's still old as hell. And he just brought a fascist, extremist energy to the Republican Party, but it didn't get younger. TPUSA is what that's supposed to be, but it's been fucking destroyed, basically. It's essentially been irrelevant now after Charlie Kirk was murdered. So I don't know who's leading the Nazi youth now, but it's not Turning Point USA. They're like done now. But they were going to be it. But there's no, in terms of politicians though, there really isn't like a young energy in the Republican Party from young politicians. They're all super Nazis. So, and like, you want to talk about electability, and in the right wing, yeah, they might have some successes there, but when they hit the mainstream, there will be massive pushback, which then will result in more people showing up for politicians like Abdul El-Sayed, because they'll see, wow, look how extreme the Republican Party is. Jesus Christ, bro. And then, oh, wow, this Democrat is like mid as hell and also supports Israel, which is what the Republican Party does. I don't want to support that. Oh, Abdul El-Sayed, wow, he seems younger and also he wants to include moderate Democrats in his coalition. He's made it clear multiple times that, like, every time he speaks, he wants moderates in his coalition, and he wants to make, because honestly, his positions are not extreme. The positions he has are not even close to extreme. He doesn't talk about the reappropriating wealth and literally taking money away from billionaires and giving it to the, there's no extreme takes in which he will then be like, I will use the law enforcement tools at my disposal to go after millionaires and billionaires, and like that would be probably pretty extreme. It would be, I don't know how would that work though. Everyone always cries communism and cries about this extreme anti-capitalist left, and there are people that think that way, and they do exist, but they're not the idea that they would have power at all. I mean, just the way our country is set up. But we're like, Abdul El-Sayed we're not even there. It's not even close. He literally, what does he say? Money out of politics. So he wants to take being able to buy elections out of it and foreign influence out of elections. That's not really extreme, especially when you look at Thomas Massie on the Republican Party, he's libertarian, but he's MAGA libertarian, which MAGA is pretty extreme. MAGA is extreme. But Israel bought his election out and funded his opponent. But that's included though. The money out of politics isn't just for the Democrats. It's his position and other I guess more socialists, further left candidates are really yo, we need to get the money out of the politics. And there's and Republicans will talk about it, and conservatives will say it all day long. Yeah, we got to get the the foreign money out. They can't money out. No more stock trading and all this. It's like, yes, true, we agree. But then their politicians don't fight for that. And then when the politicians on the left that do are called communists and are called all this extremist whatever, and they're not even close. Like there's zero, like there is a communist party in the United States, but there isn't a single politician even running in an election. There actually is. I think there's 2 communist parties in the United States. Very low member count, and they don't have, again, 0 representation in the government and aren't even running politicians. Like they're on social media. They have some social media influence, I guess, but like, no, not really. Because it's hard enough to get just democratic socialists through, let alone getting a few layers further left. More than just a few too. But Abdul al-Sayed's positions are not extreme, and also things that I'm hearing that conservatives are asking for. So money out of politics, that's not extreme. Money in your pocket, so that's addressing affordability, right? And the issues that we have with being able to just afford the basic needs. Being able to find a job is damn near impossible right now, actually, for people. And then if you do have a job, you usually have to find another job and then a side hustle and then another job for your side hustle and then another side hustle. So you need to have at least 2 jobs and a side hustle right now in the United States, at least for if you're my age. Everyone my age I know has some type of like money coming in just to fund their bills, so then they can afford their like other payments that they have to have. Okay. I don't know anyone that doesn't have like some side shit going on. They're making some side money on top of their already full-time job. So money in your pockets, and that's obviously not. I have no idea how that's extreme. That's not extreme. And then I guess you get to the to Medicare for all when it comes to codifying the Affordable Care Act into the government, so Republicans can't take it away. And I guess is at the extreme part, which we've already had the Affordable Care Act since Obama. So we've had a Trump term, a Biden term, and we're halfway, thank God, almost halfway through Trump's second term under this Affordable Care Act. And Republicans will bring it up out of nowhere when it comes time for election, when they say that the Medicare for all, the Affordable Care Act is costing you money. It's not. It's not. It's costing. It might be digging into the pockets of the healthcare corporations, because that's less people that they can prey upon for their healthcare premiums. But fuck them. And then that puts you. I'm gonna start calling that out when Republicans do this, and I'm gonna say, okay, so are you for the Medicare corporations and the insurance companies? Are you thinking of their feelings? Because that's who's actually paying for it. Because if you have the money to get better insurance, you're gonna do it. Like, what are we doing? Like, it's so stupid. Like, if you really can't afford insurance, you're gonna do what you can to just fill out the paperwork, get the government insurance, and it's really not that good. Like, it's really not the best. You still gotta wait. All the lies that they say about you get to jump in line. No, the fuck you don't. And like, you still have to call and make an appointment like everyone else does. And it's at select clinics that you can only choose from on a list. It's not like you can go anywhere the fuck you want. So, and then you're still on a waiting list. And then if you have the money to buy better insurance, like, you're just going to do it. Like, you're going to do that because you're like, yeah, I mean, maybe you've been on assisted healthcare or whatever. And it's like, like, it's really not that good at all. Really not good at all. Even for veterans. That's why my grandfather, who's served in Vietnam, he's never really been he came home and did the VA for like a little bit, and then has been doing his own private healthcare ever since, because the VA just, is traditionally not good. You're on a wait list, and it's gotten better, I guess, like in Minneapolis, but not really. I've been in the VA healthcare system. I'm glad it exists, again, for low income, and that's why it needs to exist. And I'm not against it, but like, if you have money, you're likely gonna buy oh my God. You're likely gonna buy the more expensive insurance. Yeah, keep commenting if you've committed sexual assault on Facebook. Zach X is on Facebook, guys. I can't be playing around with him. Like, he's literally committed sexual assault. Like, we can't normalize people that have that behavior. And just because he like makes a clown mockery of every situation he goes into, like, that's why I do. Well, that's why, like, when it comes time to post about him now, I don't try to make content out of it. It's like a direct pointed post, because he's committed sexual assault. And he continues to assault people at protests. And he has multiple court hearings. He's a fucking criminal. And we can't make this reality of tee hee hee ho ho ho. He's just a MAGA troll. Tee hee hee. Like, no, dude. Like, these people like him need to be marched to a fucking camp someday. All right, and I'm being dead serious. Like, it's no, like, the time for jokes is, we got to be done with it. So, anyways, as I was saying now, which I lost my complete fucking train of thought, because we can't entertain them. They can't be entertained anymore. It's not like about, like, it's total bullshit. And then most of them just commit assaults when they go into protests anyways. It's not even about freedom of speech. Do the Republicans' concepts of a plan ever materialize? No. Anyway, oh yeah, we're talking about healthcare coverage. Yeah. So if you have the money to afford healthcare, you're going to do that, because you will have a better you'll have better, unfortunately, because of the way our healthcare system works, if you can pay for it, you'll have access to better doctors and better care, because that's the way our shit's set up, and it sucks. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish our healthcare system wasn't of pay for play healthcare. That's what it is. The more money you have, the better healthcare you get, and that's the facts. And then the right-wing Republicans will lie and say that, oh, the free healthcare is the actual good healthcare, and they're cheating you out of health, and it's just so stupid. It's backwards. And it's lies. Okay, it's lies completely. So when he mentions Medicare for all as his third pillar, that's not extreme whatsoever when we've had that. It just needs to be codified into the government, so that way they can't repeal it or take it away. It needs to be enshrined, okay, in there. Anyways, this was Haley Stevens' remarks today, though. Friends, I want to thank you for your support in this race. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you who stepped up to fight for a stronger Michigan. Now it's time to come together to make sure we beat Mike Rogers and keep Michigan blue. Let's go win. So you have Haley Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed having a hug. I don't know if there's a video of this, though. I don't know. She didn't really post much of it. Just posted that. I spoke with Abdul a few moments ago and offered my full support to help him defeat Mike Rogers. You see no evidence that U.S. police are public servants. They serve whoever plays. Yeah, well, we pay their tax. The issue is we pay their wage and tax money, but yet the corporations and the government use them over the people that pay their pockets, that pay their salary. Either that or make us stop paying taxes for the police, because they're clearly only used to guard buildings. Not really used for much more. And also help the federal government when they have a private concentration camp from Geo Group. President Trump has done something no other president in the history of our country has ever done. Oh my God. What? Complying with the ethics strategy? Are you joking?
About President Trump, let's remind ourselves, President Trump has done something no other president in the history of our country said yes to. We literally
live in an attempt at North Korea, guys. I want you to know that. But because, I guess, the pillars of what we have existing for a long time, to where I guess we can use our speech, but again, it's controlled by the social media companies. But we got enough to say what we want to say. And it's not total blackout, like no speech North Korea mode, but they're trying it. Like, literally, like, it's so bad. He is the most honest, transparent president. He's complying with all the ethics. Like, brother, stop it. It's so bad. This is literally shit they do in North Korea. But again, they have even less freedom to where you can't even there's no reality to which I could have a platform like this to even call it out, which is what Donald Trump and this administration is trying to do by attacking people with the job, or attacking people by using their free speech that are speaking out against the Trump administration or anything right-wing at all.
Of our country said yes to, which is complying to the ethics, strategy, and standard for all elected officials. We've never had a president ever say yes to that issue, that question. So it's good news. We're making progress about President Trump.
We're making good news. Jeez, dude. So bad. There he is. Mitch McConnell says he's been discharged from rehab. Boy. Polling averages among Hispanic voters. Yeah, it wasn't. Things are looking good now. It wasn't looking good in 2024. It was wicked. It was wicked what the right wing was able to pull off with minority groups in 2024. Crazy work all around. Anti-war crowd, all types of minority groups. The fact that there was a Muslims for Trump group, brother. Wicked. But I mean, all it took was all Trump said was, hey, we're going to do mass deportations. And people thought it was a game. You know, unfortunately. But clearly it was not a game, was it? That shit was not a game at all. It's still going too. ICE is still active. I'm getting people sending me messages of ICE sightings still here, and they're out in like the Twin Cities just doing what they were doing earlier. Not in the same scope and scale of what they were doing, but they're still like ICE agents are still like posted up around the Twin Cities, and people have been seeing them like for the past couple months still. That shit is actually wild. And I already made my comments about what people think about flock cameras and how loud it is, and how I guess it's unbiased to be against flock cameras. But when it came to ICE agents, I guess you have libertarian right-wingers and MAGA that, you know, are just, I guess, too pussy to be have principles. And it's in my opinion, it's because the ICE agent has a gun and has murdered Americans and civilians multiple times, and that's scary, obviously. So it's far easier to be against the flock camera that really can't fight back, obviously, because it's just kind of an inanimate object. You know, you can sneak up on it in the middle of the night. There's plenty of tutorials on how to take them down now. It's all cool. I love all that. But like, you know, but I guess people with a whistle and horn honking, like that's definitely communism, guys. That's something that, hey, the people that were blowing whistles are terrorists, and they're just the fucking worst people ever. And then, oh God, the ICE agents and their feelings, and they were just out there to protect our community. The same backwards argument you could sit there and make for the flock cameras, and how the flock cameras are out there protecting the community, and they're just watching. And, oh, if you're not doing anything wrong, then there won't be anything to worry about, right? But apparently no, because that's what it is. The flock cameras can't shoot you back. They're not armed, and you can take a stand against an inanimate object. So it's based to be anti-flock camera, which it is. You should be, but you should be against all of it. You should be against all of the surveillance state, which includes DHS, everything about DHS, by the way, and ICE agents, and the funding of it. But if you're going to pick and choose, and you're a clown to me. Like, people that are picking and choosing and that are like against flock cameras and are so vocal about it and think they're so strong and so brave because they went and cut down a fucking pole, a camera pole. So strong, dude. So brave. So brave. But yet the people out there that are risking their life in front of militarized goons with masks on, literally getting murdered, but still go out there in negative 40-degree weather and are blowing whistles at them to just try to distract them or get them out of their community. Yeah, for sure, guys. Like that actually wasn't heroic. The heroic is all the millions of TikToks telling you how to cut down a fucking pole. That's so cool. Yep. So based, which again, it is cool, but the amount of energy that goes into these flock cameras getting cut down, and how different it was for people that were blowing whistles at ICE agents and what they were called versus what these people that are cutting down the flock cameras is wild to me. I guess I don't have to worry. I guess I can sleep good at night. I don't have that hypocrisy in my head. But I could play that game though. That's funny, is because now I've been doing this for so long to where I could I might be annoying to libertarian right wing idiots, and I might hit them with that all the time. Like, oh, isn't the flock camera just keeping the community safe? I thought that's what you idiots said about ICE agents. Yeah, with the ICE agents, well, and they're actually doing it. Well, I'm gonna hit them with that. I'm gonna hit them with flock camera data. Well, flock cameras are reportedly hitting this amount of percentage of safety in this community, and you're cutting them down. Like, bro, I will do that. I promise you. I'll be like the most annoying person because people can't be consistent, and that's not my problem. And then they're gonna call. It could be they could try to make it my problem, but at the end of the day, it's not my problem because I can call out both of it. Which you need to. You need to be calling out DHS and ICE agents, and you should be calling out flock cameras. And if you've literally picked and chose, then you're in moron, but you better be calling out ICE agents now. Or if you don't, if you go back to posting memes about how cool ICE agents are, then you're going to be a clown. And everyone else will call you a clown too. It's been one of the worst things I've seen out of the libertarian right. And because yeah, I mean, some of them did stand against ICE, and that's great, but a lot of them did not. More of them did not. It wasn't until Alex Pretty was murdered, to which they then were like, oh, okay. Oh, I guess the Second Amendment, my gun. That's what it took. And then they were willing to look at it, but not really. Yeah, this happened as well. Then we'll get to the main of the U.S. weapons depletion and the fallout of that because of our dumb war with Iran. Already walking it back. She took a big, strong, and brave stand for conservative males and women that have been fooled by these conservative males. Which again, I think a lot of the MAGA women and conservative women would not be that way if it weren't for the men. So that's why I don't really put any blame on right-wing women. They're not like that naturally. Okay. But a lot of the jock women that are right-wing are can be mean girls. I've noted, I've experienced. And Sophie Cunningham was kind of taking that position of trying to be the mean girl, but her basketball skill and position on the team would never allow that to thrive because she's buns. When you play for 23 minutes and only score 3 points, you're buns and you're a bench player. And also you play on the Indiana Fever, and that is Caitlin Clark's team. And when Caitlin Clark is trying to be the best in the world, and she arguably is, that's going to take away from your teammate who's already came under the radar when it comes to the conservatives trying to make Caitlin Clark their new darling, right? Because they need a winner. They don't have a real winner, and they know it. Riley Gaines is a loser. She's a 5th place swimmer. They have zero athlete. They have Aaron Rodgers, who's washed as hell now. I don't know. He'll definitely be a MAGA grifter because he does vaccine hesitancy propaganda on at McAfee all day long now. But they really have no winners for right-wing athletes. Nobody that's actually worth emulating or that's a role model. Okay. Maybe they did back in the day, who knows, because there was really not a lot of sports is political actually. And many big major sporting events have had political ramifications around them. But when it comes to American domestic sports, only recently when athletes were starting to take a stand against injustices did the right wing start hammering down of we can't have politics in sports, can't have it. Which sports are like, especially when you're playing sports at a young age, all of that's political. It's about who you know, what group you're connected to, how much money you have, if you can afford the clinics and all of the summer camps. That way you build connections with coaches. So when it comes time to when they're building their teams, they know you, because that's what you got to do. You have to do all that. Okay. If you're like a rec player trying to come up in sports, you're not going to do very well. It's possible, but you got to work your like, it's probably not possible nowadays. I have no idea. You got to spend so much money now. So there's a lot of like, not really, I guess, left and right culture war politics in terms of what we see now, but there's a lot of bullshit in sports growing up. Like there really is. And the parents have to deal with, and then dealing with other parents that is just a pain in the ass. So, and because my dad was a coach, and so I remember him dealing with all that. So, but now obviously you have the culture war seeping into it, and that's nobody's fault but the right wing. Okay. And conservative MAGA and Fox News that have been hammering these issues in terms of like when Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee during the national anthem. That was actually an approved, protest by a Vietnam veteran because Colin Kaepernick was trying to figure out, hey, how can I protest the national anthem right now? And I'm not feeling the vibe of the country because we're seeing police brutality that's just insane. And like, I don't feel patriotic, and like, I don't want to give reverence to the country right now. I need it, but I don't want to disrespect veterans that have given their life to this country, because in the NFL, when they're doing the national anthem, they focus the military on that part. So he didn't want to disrespect veterans. So he asked a veteran, what can I do to protest the national anthem while still giving reverence to veterans and the sacrifices that they've made? And he was told by a veteran that you can take a knee, and just take a knee during the national anthem. The right wing hated that, obviously. Yeah, they fucking hated that. They're like, no, you can't knee. You're putting the politics in the sports. Got to keep the politics out. And then LeBron started talking. And LeBron, because he has the right to fucking talk, because he's like arguably the best in the world. Okay, because he's the best. And so he made a statement just about how Trump was, and like, hey, and like Kevin Durant, right, in the video, hey, he ain't a good leader. Like, what he's saying isn't really good, and right wing hated that. He told LeBron to shut up and dribble. Okay, so whenever athletes have just made general statements, non-political, it's not like LeBron was arguing how the capitalist economic system is failing and we should really start fucking really looking at the future here. Or, hey, we need to put more money into housing, and like, he wasn't, it's just generalized statements about how Trump at the time, back in like 2015, 2016, was not like going to be a good leader. Ended up being right too. I guess LeBron James can play basketball and give generalized statements that are true. He did not even get into any political anything, but the right wing cried. They cried, which is what they do all day. They cry, and they made it so that way any athlete that would make political statements would get lambasted, or they would get they would get spotlighted in the right wing form of cancel culture, right? Which the right wing cries about cancel culture, but they do it all day. Like, they literally do nothing but cancel culture all day long. Like libs, that's why Libs of TikTok exists. That account is to go after left-wing social media users and get them fired from their jobs. That's all Libs of TikTok is for. But that's all what the right wing is for, is to try to put their troll ass, chud ass following base, voter base, to then start harassing athletes that are actually good at sports, by the way, and actually excel at sports and are usually the best at the sport. And so to turn their base against them and make them like a culture war topic the whole time. Okay. And then in now recent times, when Trump has won the presidency and now the right wing has total power, now they're playing the game now, and they get to inject politics into sports, like actual politics, which men and women's sports is not a thing unless you play slow pitch softball like I do. So I am a man that plays in a woman's sport, but many do. There's many people of all types of genders or no gender or any doesn't matter, that play the game of slow pitch softball. But I'm a male and I play a woman's sport, and it is okay, and I have a good time doing it. And I'm going to go out and do some batting practice in a little bit too. So it would be hypocritical of me to be against that in general. But again, when you get older, you know what I mean? When you get older and you become an adult and you're playing recreational sports, men and women play sports together. Okay? Men and women play sports together. It's mostly co-ed. Unless you are good still, and then you go and you play at high levels, but you're still not like professional. So like amateurish levels, but yet there's women that play there too. You can play co-ed at high level too. For sports, for volleyball, for softball, for fucking darts league, doesn't matter. Okay, because what do you have? If you, and that's why I know most of these conservatives don't play sports. They're just a bunch of fucking dorks that are speaking on behalf of people that do, and then people that do play sports are like, shut the fuck up, you don't know what you're talking about. Or they choose to be hypocritical idiots and pretend like men and women's sports isn't a thing in general anyways. And like tons of men play sports that are deemed for women. But in general, but the point of it is it's a dog whistle against the trans community, okay? It's just a way so that way they could subvert their hatred for the trans community and say that men can't play women's sports, and then they'll invalidate the trans existence completely while also now saying, oh, I support the trans community, but like they can't play sports. Nope, they gotta be segregated. They gotta have their own thing. Blah blah blah. And so it's like, well, how can you even say you support the trans community at all when you're trying to segregate the trans community away from society, and you're also invalidating their experience by saying they're men and women's sports. Literally, that statement in general, if you're targeting the trans community with that statement, is invalidating their existence, period. When you say things like real women, that invalidates their existence completely because trans women are women. So it invalidates their experience completely and invalidates their existence completely. So there is no reality in which you can try to separate those two. They're not mutually exclusive. Okay, you can't separate them. But also the fact that there is 0 trans athletes in the WNBA, zero, let alone any trans athletes at all that are outperforming their peers on any level. If there ever is a situation, then there will be onesies and twosies. But like the right wing is acting as if there's just like Avengers wave of trans athletes that are just taking over women's sports and are just dominating everyone, and like we gotta stop, we gotta fight and virtue signal and all this shit, and it's just it's just nothing. It's truly like a nothing issue. It is a nothing issue all around. It's a dog whistle. It's an issue to get conservatives and people that are fucking stupid, because I'm noticed there's people making strong and brave statements on Facebook like, I'm a Democrat and I'm against men and women's sports. Well, you're just a fucking moron. No, you're just an idiot. You're just dumb. Okay, so it's a non-issue in general. Okay, and it's been a non-issue for years. Like the first time that these attacks on the trans community were taking place was back in like 2012, 2011. I was like a senior in high school. I just turned 33 this year. And I'm sorry, but I guess I am online a lot. I do engage in political discussion a lot. I see it every single day. I've had very viral streams covering the most political things ever over the past 6 years. I've been on the ground firsthand for many situations, so I'm pretty tuned in. I'm pretty dialed in to what the fuck's going on out here. There has never been a situation in which there's like cis men that are like, unless the MAGA is going to do it, which they want to, like cis men dressing up as women to then infiltrate women's sports to then dominate. It doesn't fucking happen. Doesn't happen. It's a complete bullshit, non-existent issue, which again is just a reverse way to attack the trans community. But don't take it from me. Don't take it from me. Take it from the very icon now of the anti-trans community, of this XXXY Athletics and Riley Gaines, right? It turns out, hey, all we ever do is talk about everything except basketball. You can talk about other things. Those are great stories. It shows fans who people outside of the court, but I think we got to keep the main thing the main thing. Oh, is that true? Oh, so we got to shut up and dribble?
I think that there's so much good going on in the WNBA. I think that basketball is being played at the highest level it's ever been. I think our team in specific, we are breaking history right now with the amount of points that we're scoring on back-to-back games. I think the Minnesota game, there's just so much distraction. I think the WNBA media, all we ever do is cover everything except basketball. And it's like, what are we doing? There's so much. Like, you can talk about other things.
It's your fault for engaging with these fucking trolls. Your fault. You did it. You loved it because you get a lot of social media updates. You get a lot of social media likes. What's their Instagram had like almost 1 million likes on the Instagram, dude. Look at it. I said what I said. Hair flip. Ooh, the social media feels so good though when you see that many engagements. But inside of the culture, like when you're playing in basketball, when the culture of people that actually watch the sport are not fucking with it, and they're like, nah, we're not with what you were with. But like all of the people, and it's so crazy, and this is why she's doing it. All the people that have spent nothing but shit on the WNBA for the past 20 years, right? And like, oh, the women want to get paid more, right? Oh, they want more pay. What do you mean get more pay? Go back, and then and then they'll hit you with the misogyny. Okay, they'll hit the misogyny notes right after that. So the idea that the people that have spent nothing but hate the WNBA are going to rally behind Sophie Cunningham against the base of the WNBA that have been supporting it through and through for the last, through all of it, through all of the bullshit narratives, and have been fighting for the women to get more pay and more opportunities. And like in some ways it is playing out, like in the popular basketball game, like for example, like this is just an example, like NBA 2K, you can play in the WNBA now and have a whole like career mode in the WNBA and play with the WNBA players. Obviously there's like a new energy to support the actual teams. Like the Lynx are fucking really good. In Minnesota, the Minnesota Lynx have had a big following, and they've been winning championships. Like they're the only team that can win in Minnesota. Our men's professional teams obviously struggle, but the Lynx have been winning. Okay, and like the Caitlin Clark era, she's good to watch, but there's good WNBA basketball, like, and it's gotten better and better because like the women are fighting for those opportunities, and it's still like a long way to go. Like, but when those issues are talked about and it's not focused on trans hate, the very people that are supporting Sophie Cunningham and her message are shitting on all the women that are demanding these opportunities and higher pay. Okay. So there's no reality in which you could like osmosis think that, oh, well, I got all these supporters now. They don't support your sport. They don't support your team. And if they're going to support the Indiana Fever ain't doing too well right now. And then really you're not the best player on the Indiana Fever. That would be Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark ain't really down with making the political statements like MAGA wanted her to. And that's why Sophie Cunningham, who's a bench player on the Indiana Fever, has to come out and say, oh, guys, actually, no more politics. I sorry. We'll just play basketball. You're right. We'll just play basketball. That's what we should do.
Things. I think those are great stories. I think it shows fans, who people are outside of the court. But I also think we got to keep the main thing. And I think when it comes to the Minnesota game, I think there's so much distraction. But like the matchup between Miles and Kelsey was phenomenal. Our team, that game in particular was a great game. And so I think that there's a lot to be said, and I'm going to let people just do the speaking for themselves. But for me, I want to get back to basketball. It's always been about basketball. That happened in February when I was asked a question.
Right.
And so for me, I just want to, make sure that it stays, the focus stays where it should, because people are playing it.
You know what she saw? This is what she saw, Zach X and the supporters. She saw her supporters out there and was like, actually,
would you fuck me?
Right. He went out there to support Sophie Cunningham like this. Okay. And she was like, yeah, actually, yeah, my fans suck now. So I need to be quiet. Because, yeah, it is bad. Like, that's what you got to think about, like, when you're going to be making statements and positions of the type of people that are going to be attached to you afterwards. And then when you have now she has a platform, and, like, that sucks. You don't want that type. You don't want those types of people in your shit. You don't. Not all just because, and especially in this day and age of social media. Like maybe back in the day, any number is a good number. It's not. It's not. And there's enough social media now and enough people on it to where you can not just settle for any type of follower, dude. Like, don't do that, actually. Like, there's times in which you, like, for me, like, I will welcome, is anyone that will watch, like, when I'm on the ground live. When I'm live on the ground covering things, I need that to get to as much people as possible, whatever. And, like, yeah, it works. And then when I'm dialed in at home and, like, I'm building my community up, I'm not welcoming MAGA. I'm not welcoming racists or because it's just, you're going to stack problems. They're going to stack issues. And then that will infect the other part of your community too, because other people aren't going to want to deal with that either. So it's another thing too, when you're like, and my biggest supporter is a 5th place swimmer. Really? Because in the real world, Riley Gaines is a fucking loser. She's only a winner in MAGA because she's a Fox News blonde type. Like, that's it. But she got 5th place in swimming and became famous afterwards, because then she gets to just be like their a tool to hate the trans community. That's what Riley Gaines' existence is.
Just want to, make sure that it stays, the focus stays where it should, because people are playing at such a high level. We have probably like 3 MVPs that could be MVPs on our team specifically. And so that's why I want to do that. No, I was asked a question, and that's simply what it was. I just wasn't making a statement to make a statement. And so I was trying to clear the air, and I did that and back in February. And so it is what it is. And like I said, we're in the middle of the season. I'm going to keep it that. We talk about a bunch of distraction. Our team is good. My teammates are good. Our locker room is great. And so
let's keep it to that.
We're just here about to prepare for Las Vegas, and that's where our mind is at.
Yeah. All right. So no more political comments from Sophie Cunningham. That's that. Majority of that 5 to 10% of the fans are booing her. The problem is that, it's the people that actually watch the WNBA. She's confusing Ryan Howard with Natasha Howard, and these people expect to be taken seriously about pretending to give a single fuck about protecting women's sports.
It was really cool to see Ryan Howard play, who was at the University of Kentucky at the same time I was. She plays for the Lynx. She was the #1 WNBA draft pick in 2022 coming out of Kentucky.
Hey, Claude, give me top facts about the Lynx. All right, I'll go live now. They don't care. I already told you. It's the same people that when women demand higher pay, they will say, no, you can't do that. You can't demand higher pay. No, women, what the heck? Can't do that. So it's hypocritical. It truly is. It truly is. And then people that try to say, God, no, they try to even talk down to me. Like, it's not the same. Okay, we can do both. What is here's a perfect example. Stephen A. Smith, who should shut up and stick to sports. He's already kind of getting washed at doing that, to be honest. Oh my God. He made his, I'm not backing down from this one. You could support people's rights and believe biological men shouldn't compete in women's sports. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. By you invalidating the trans existence is therefore making it exclusive. Like, that statement alone. How do you support people's rights? By invalidating them. My issue isn't hate. It's protecting women, protecting girls, and asking why a WNBA coach chose to inject herself into a controversy that could hurt the very league she's supposed to represent. Maybe Sophie Cunningham should have thought about that. And that Sophie Cunningham shouldn't have injected herself into an issue that will directly hurt the WNBA. Minnesota Lynx coach. Sorry, I'm going to get her name wrong. Lynx coach. She wore the Protect Trans Kids t-shirt. Cheryl Reeve. I thought it was Cheryl Reeves for a second. Cheryl Reeves. She wore a Trans Kids Belong shirt. And so you're gonna because again, Minneapolis now. And Minneapolis is 10 toes down for all marginalized groups, if you haven't noticed. Literally 10 toes down. More than just like words, like all about it. So, of course, okay. And so you're going to choose to focus on Cheryl Reeves' shirt over Sophie Cunningham being the one that's actually injecting herself into culture war slop. And that which actually hurts the fever, because Sophie Cunningham chose to be a distraction. Which again, then I guess again after this statement was made, that's when Sophie Cunningham made the statement of let's just stick to basketball. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith should stick to sports. He needs to stop. He's trying to be this like establishment Democrat type that can like try to pull in the right wing, and it's just not gonna. It's gonna be not good. Oh God. What did Trump have to say? I think the war with Iran will end pretty soon. Oh geez, this is just coming in now. Asen's dropping clips.
Pretty soon again, based on everything I see. As soon as the war ends, and I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Yeah, please.
Has a deal been reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's sort of open right now.
It's sort of open. It's sort of open, guys. Is the Strait of Hormuz open or closed?
A thing called the blockade, headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. And now we control it, but they can always shoot something. They always have something, or drop a mine. And if you have one mine sitting out there, you sort of mess things up.
Sarah on Twitch says, all these twats talking about protecting girls, but then also go and vote for Trump. Literally.
Because people don't want to take their billion-dollar boats and...
Like, MAGA truly has no idea how much their commentary and takes are just, like, invalid. And, like, they're going to continue to, like, run into that.
Accidentally get hit by a mine.
Because of what they support and what they're willing to be okay with.
But I think we're doing very well. I just, I'm involved in the negotiation. I think
I'm involved with the negotiations. I'm involved. Oh boy. What did he get? He participates in a signing. Oh God. Oh, it wasn't that long of a thing.
Relating to the polysilicon industry. This is a series of trade and tariff.
Okay, we don't care. Yeah, we don't care about that. We care about how he answers the questions.
A consular officer, you're here.
Ew, Stephen Miller spoke today.
On to this birth tourism industry. There's absolutely nothing in here that runs afoul of any of the Supreme Court's opinions on the subject. This is frankly, it's
and they wonder why they're being replaced. Jesus, brother. All right, here, let's get to here we go. No one cares about Stephen Miller.
And by definition, that visa can and should and will be now denied.
Mr. President, there was a report that you told donors that they need to get J.D. Vance elected in 2028. Is that your official endorsement?
No, it's. I heard about it a little while ago. I think he's great, but we're way too early to even be thinking about that.
Dang. No JD Vance. I mean, not really. Way too early. Yeah, midterms coming up. If the Democrats win, you're not going to have anything. You're not going to get anything done. You will literally get zero anything done. You will have to literally. Oh, it's going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy. But that's if the Democrats can blue wave this thing, which it's looking good. Obviously, a little drama in the primary part of it because the establishment can't handle what's happening right now. But overall, though, it's looking good. Unless the only way that the blue wave gets derailed is if establishment Democrats in races in which they lost to a more Democrat socialist, and if they choose to do counter propaganda for the Republican Party, which I'm seeing, and they're gonna focus and they're gonna do alley oops to the Republican Party and talk about, dude, he's not gonna win in this electability, litigate the candidate, even though they're the nominee. So if we're gonna play games, okay, so people play games. That's the only way the blue wave will not be the blue wave. Okay, the time to play games is in the primary, in terms of be like, no, I want the Democratic Socialist candidate. I want the further left candidate. You fight for that. You damn well you do that for sure. and it's working. It's working. So just keep doing it. But then when it comes time to get to stall Trump's plan, it's got to be blue right now. It's got to be blue wave. Got to be. But the only way it won't be is if people play games. Okay. And then, like, in my opinion, we need to end the two-party system. But, like, this is a situation in which we need to stonewall Trump's agenda. And the only way to do that is if you get a blue wave and you get the control. At least one. Like, one is good enough because you just need one. You just need to control the House. But having both the House and the Senate that'd be good. That'd be really good to have. And then we can see, right? And then I think this will be the final. Like, anyone that is still holding on to the establishment of the Democratic Party, because I'm done. I'm done with it. But anyone that's holding on to the establishment of it, if they don't hold Trump accountable at all, if they play games, in terms of the elected officials, right? When we're watching them work in Congress, like I'm saying in the future, like say the Democrats win, say we get a blue wave and they control the House and the Senate, Trump's still president, right? He's still going to be president, but like there's no fight at all. And they just pretend like, well, Trump's still president. I sitting on their hands or something, or like, not doing anything. Obviously he's still president and he still will be. They'll try to get impeachments through. There will be games played, but there better be at least an effort. There better be a consistent effort. And then also talking about, okay, and then this is who our interests are for president or whatever. That needs to be well established and ahead of time, so it could be a good primary, so people can really like get a good look at the field of Democrats that are going to run for the election in 2028. And they need to start early. It can't be literally, brother. It was like, what? How many months did we have before the election, before Biden dropped out and then gave us Kamala Harris? That literally can't be a thing. It needs to start super early, and there needs to be an energy around that, because you could get people excited, to vote again, which you're losing people. You're losing people's excitement to vote. But I think just with the state of the country and how bad MAGA is, people will go out like they were, like record numbers in the Michigan Democratic primary. Okay, even though it was close between Haley Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed, the numbers in total were record numbers. Like, so it's gonna be record numbers of people, like just in general, because of how dog shit MAGA is. People are gonna show up to vote. But to actually get more people than that out to vote, you need to get people excited early and start getting people talking about the 2028 election, and not as if we're waiting for Trump to do another insurrection. Like, if we're in a reality in which we're all just kind of waiting for Trump to do January 6 2.0 in 2028, it's cooked. Like, he'll pull something off. But if the Democrats need to be consistently fighting, building coalition, grassroots efforts for the 2028 election and any other special elections in between, and it needs to be a fight that whole time, and it needs to be led from if it needs to be led from the actual leadership within the Democratic Party. Now, this all sounds good. This all sounds like things that should happen. Will it? I don't know. That's why we got to wait and see. But what does need to happen is the Democrats need to take control of both the House and the Senate. Well, if at least one of them. It's looking good for the House, but it would be great if they got both. Because then this agenda can at least stall out.
Okay.
And Mr. President, Republicans are arguing a lot right now about affordability. What is your message on affordability going into the midterms?
Well, that's a good question, but it's sort of simple to answer. I inherited the highest prices.
Oh my God, Biden. Son of a... You guys thought you were going to get away with it. You guys thought you were going to get out of hearing it today, didn't you? Well, I inherited Biden economy. It's 2026. And it's August of 2026 now. Biden. What are they going to say? Is he going to say it next year too? In 2027? We're going to be playing GTA 6 finally. And like, we're going to hear Trump complain about Biden. Oh, guys, loading up into GTA 6. Later on the stream, we'll be talking about Trump's war in Iran. This is like next year. The war in Iran's continuing. Yeah, he said Biden forced him. or Biden old age happens, and he's getting old, man. Like, even in his grave, You think if Biden, if he croaks here because he's old, and then you think Trump will still blame him? That'll make it even better for the right wing if Biden does. He doesn't make it that long because he's old. And like we have to have a funeral and Trump's presidency, and then they just get to lie about Biden all day. Just literally make up lies about Biden. There's a lot to say about Biden, a lot of criticisms, but MAGA never chooses any ones that are worthwhile. It's just literally like, why do you suck, Trump? 'Cause Biden. That's why. It's the new Obama meme. That's where that Obama, remember thanks Obama? Or just saying Obama after everything. And now we got it with Biden. Biden did it. Mr. President, you've had the presidency for a year and a half now. Your decisions on tariffs and the war in Iran have, and also, tariff. We can just stick with the big two: tariffs and this war have directly impacted Americans' ability to afford the basic needs, and have jacked up gas prices, so on and so forth. Why is this happening? Or will this continue? I already laid out the reason. So will this continue? Well, Biden. See, I inherited Biden, which anyways, like if you look at there's two issues which are both connected, but like two issues that are not mutually exclusive. One, the affordability in general of the United States under corporations and not being able to afford groceries or not being able to afford basic needs, right? Because of how much shit just costs in general, because of the supply chain, which also is affected by the war and why things will go up, right? But just in general, we have a problem with corporate greed, right? And prices never go down, or they never sustain, right? They always go up and up and up and up. Wages are not matching that pace. That's just the facts. Like wages aren't matching the pace of the prices increase. Okay. So that is just like a general United States problem, no matter who's in power. Okay. No matter if it's the Democrats or the Republicans, that's a problem we have. It's a core problem, the affordability. Okay. That's why both parties, both Trump is asked about it and all the Democrats will be asked about it too. So it's a core issue. All right. And then you have the greater United States, like stock economy and how we're doing compared to the rest of the world. And we're rich as fuck. That's why it's a problem. That's why the United States, we should not have as many unhoused individuals. We should not have affordability problems because we're a rich country. We have a fuckload of money. A lot of it. We're up. Okay, so that's when it comes to the actual the country, the GDP, the inflation rate, all the things that many Americans don't feel, because again, it's like it's at a different level, right? You might not have stocks. You might just be trying to get by. You might just be working paycheck to paycheck. That shit ain't even affect you. Like, oh, the country's doing so good right now, but yet you're still making the same amount of money and you're struggling to pay bills if you can or whatever. Like, so it's this hypnosis of like how well the country is doing, but regular Americans aren't feeling it. And they never will. But like, because of politics, we're like, well, we're so up. But the facts is like at that level, again, that most Americans don't feel. Biden did lower the inflation rate down to 3.2. It was like, it was bad. It was bad in 2022. We had post-COVID and Russia invaded Ukraine. That's why I covered Ukraine so extensively as well, was because the inflation was at nearly 10%. The issue would have been is if that inflation rate did not come down, as if the inflation rate was still that high, Biden didn't do fuck all. You know what I mean? The amount of the job problem we had a job crisis, obviously, because of COVID, which it's bad under Trump right now. It's really bad. But it would have been a problem if those grander issues were not brought down, and they were. And Biden had the economy again at a rate that regular Americans won't feel, but he brought it back to a position that was the best in the world. Biden had the best economy in the world at post-COVID, and also brought the inflation rate down significantly to, again, 3.2%, I believe, and it was at almost 10. So those are numbers that is what I can look at. I can even show you guys. So I'm just talking about it. Biden inflation rate. Let me see if they have it. Biden's final numbers. It kept growing. It grew by 2. The economy was growing. Like again, this is why people were so critical of Biden in Israel, because all that money that he promised so many things, like to codify Medicare for all and focus more on, again, what things Abdul al-Sayed will talk about, but Biden really didn't. However, his policy internally was still beneficial overall, in contrast to what we have with MAGA. It's night and day. It truly is night and day, but it still isn't enough. It's too establishment. It's too connected to corporations. Biden is too connected to Israel, obviously. All right, which is all true. All of that is true. But in comparing the economy to Trump's economy, it is night and day. That's how bad it is. It is truly night and day, guys. I mean, it was, and everything. I'm trying to find the inflation rate. I believe it was at just over 3%. Because that was one of the biggest MAGA talking points about Biden, was the inflation. Wages, jobs, and unemployment. And it's crazy because what's wild is, well, Trump will cry about Biden, obviously, but Biden did inherit the COVID economy that Trump left. I guess Biden could have just been crying about that every day. And, well, Trump gave me a COVID. They had COVID, so I can't do anything. Wow. And then he got zero credit for. The Democrats suck at messaging, dude. Because I mean, this is night and day. They'll say, "Well, that was during COVID." Okay, well then, how did Biden perform when he was when he was president? Did it go up a little bit? Did it go up at all? Wow. It literally was but again, because, and again, I want Democrats to hear this, especially if you're establishment. Is the Democratic Party economy better than the Republican Party? Yes, it's night and day. I've said that. However, the regular people that pay bills and pay rent money and live in the United States do not feel these changes. They don't feel the ups, like when the country's up because we were down. Like, rich people feel that. It's like the issue is like the affordability still. The stock market, again, be a regular. You're blessed if you got money in stocks that can help keep you going or whatever. Trying to find the inflation number. 3%. January of 2025. There you go. Biden to Trump. Perfect. This is a great website, actually. So I actually left it at 3%, so it was even better than I thought. Going into, like, actually, when he in his lame duck era, he got it down to 2.4% at the lowest. Jesus, Trump brought it up to 4.2% just a month ago. And it's going up. Right? Remember, we still got years to go with Trump. And you can't say he inherited Biden when he's like, it's worse than Biden, when Biden left it. And then if you're like truly a good, like, why is this not happening? Right? Why is this not going on? Why are we doing this instead? Why did graph go back up? And again, it's trending up still. Plus 15.4%, still going up. Yeah, this is bad. The post-COVID, Russia invaded Ukraine, and then what did Biden do? This is Biden's presidency. This is where you judge how well Biden did with the economy at scale during his term. And look what happened. He brought the inflation rate down, which is which after COVID and Russia invading Ukraine needed to happen, obviously, because it was bad. It was bad. Look, it really high. So then when you judge Trump, and when Trump is like, Biden, you are way, like, you already had it plateaued to Biden. And actually there was a little time period in which you brought it lower than Biden left it. Right there. That was it. What have you been doing since? Well, how's it been going since? We're just going back up and up and up. So when Trump is like, Biden is the reason why I can't do anything, he's just full of shit. Average price of bacon. Beef prices. That's what MAGA's focusing on. This is a good website. BidenToTrump.com. I put this in the Discord so I can come back to it. Because this Trump does this shit all day. So it'd be cool. Now I have a direct source to when he's complaining about Biden. And now we can pull up the compare and contrast. Yeah, I'm just gonna post this in discussion. BidenToTrump.com. This guy got a bunch of stuff. Gasoline prices. Oops. Dang. Wow, they even give you graphs. Wow. So look at this, was post-COVID. Russia invading Ukraine. Why in MAGA it's nothing like that. They were making viral videos about the gas stations, blaming Biden for the gas prices and everything. Remember the Biden did it photos or the Biden did it stickers? Look at this shit. Now it's like just, he's terrible. Donald Trump is a fucking terrible president. No feelings attached. He's a terrible on all levels. Like on just numbers. And I don't even like numbers like that, but like just pull up the numbers, which Trump will always quote, and his numbers are bad. Bad numbers.
Ever. I inherited the worst inflation in the history of our country, and we have done an amazing job. And oil prices now are coming down very rapidly. If you look at what's going on, it's down to 75. When I started the very important excursion into the Islamic Republic of Iran, it was a very important excursion because they can't have a nuclear weapon. Otherwise, the whole world would get blown up. We're not going to let that happen.
Damn. And now there's a lot of MAGA that like their diesel trucks. My diesel, my Power Stroke, my Cummins, my truck, my fish, my gun. Damn. And there was no need for this, except for Trump's war in Iran that nobody asked for. But MAGA has to 4D chest hypnosis to 47 years, and he's finally done it. Yeah, finally brought us back right where we were post-COVID. It was like Biden wasn't even president. So yeah, sure, Trump was president, I guess, because you just keep going right where he left off. Biden did all that, and then here we're right back to as if COVID was just yesterday.
Not only us, not only the Middle East, the whole world would have been catastrophic. We had no choice. We had oil.
We had no choice.
In many places like Iowa, oil was down to, gasoline was down at numbers that people hadn't seen in years. $1.85, $1.95.
Where are we at with, where is that happening? No, we need gasoline. Is there more? You graph. I need more data. Give me more numbers. The quotes, there you go. No. Bureau Labor of Statistics. Nice. So the source is directly coming from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. There's Trump's gasoline. Where is the down? Literally right back to post-COVID era because of Trump's war.
And so it passed Tuesday. I was in Iowa at a stop, and we had $1.95, another one $1.85 a gallon. And we'll see those days pretty soon again, based on everything I see, as soon as the war ends. And
as soon as the war ends, right.
I think it's going to end pretty soon. I don't think they can go much longer. Yeah, please.
Has Has a deal been reached to reopen the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to say it has been. It's sort of open right now.
Sort of open.
A thing called the blockade, headed up by the U.S. Navy, and we control it. And now we control it, but they can always shoot something. They always have something or drop a mine. And if you have one mine sitting out there, you sort of mess things up because people don't want to take their billion-dollar boats and accidentally get hit by a mine. But I think we're doing very well. I just, I'm involved in the negotiation. I think we're doing fine.
Mr. President,
It could be soon, yeah.
Mr. President, have you lobbied any of the undecided Republicans who will vote tomorrow on Todd Blanche's nomination?
I will lobby if I need to. I will lobby very, very diligently because he's outstanding. He should be good. I mean, I can't imagine he's as good as there is in the country. People have such unbelievable respect for Todd Blanche, so hopefully that won't be necessary. I spoke to some people, I did, but hopefully it'll all work out very well for the country because you're not going to find better than Todd Blanche.
Will you reach out to Senator Murkowski, Senator Cassidy, for instance?
Let's see if we need anybody. I'll reach out to whoever I have to, but anybody voting against him would be doing a great disservice to the country, please.
Mr. President, the deadline for
A great disservice to me.
Representative Max Miller to withdraw from his race is coming up next week. Do you believe you should withdraw this?
Well,
quit showing the president? No.
I'm not going to get involved in that. It's a very sad
That's how people get complacent.
situation. And I know Max very well. But it's very, very sad that a situation like that takes place. Yeah.
Do you think the DOJ should prosecute Dr. Fauci?
Well, they prosecuted Peter Navarro and they prosecuted Steve Bannon, two very decent people, over something that essentially was never prosecuted before. And there are sort of telltale signs of similarity. And they went to jail
of committing crime? Yeah.
For a number of months.
Yeah, because they were criminals.
That I saw one of the analysts said they used to laugh at it in the Justice Department when something like that was referred. But Merrick Garland prosecuted two very decent people and sent them to jail. I wasn't president. I would have given them a pardon in 2 seconds. But I wasn't. It was after I left. They waited till after I left, and then they prosecuted these two people, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves. So when you see that happen, you sort of say maybe he should. What he did is far more serious than a lot of crimes, frankly. But they prosecuted two people where nothing like that has ever taken place before.
Mr. President.
On munitions, you posted overnight that the U.S. has a massive amount, and
right.
You denied that there were any shortages. There is a supplemental request for $21 billion to restock. So why is that request still there if there's
because we need more all the time. I mean, we need more. Look, we gave tremendous amount to Ukraine. The Biden people did.
Wow.
And they were given free of charge. No charge. No charge. Billions, hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah, the Laura Loomer shit's going well, isn't it? So worth selling out for that. Yeah, welcome to Kyiv, Laura. Fucking Jake, bro. What a loser.
And fortunately, I built up so much during my term.
It's going well. It's going so good.
It up with a lot of stuff. And we have certain types of munitions that are very powerful, that we have virtual unlimited supply. We have others where it's a little bit tighter, and we're getting them in on a daily basis.
A little tighter.
As you know, our defense companies are building more plants right now than at any point in history. They're building plants for the Patriots, for the Tomahawks, for everything. But we have certain types of munitions, which are very, they may not be as accurate. They may not be, they're not as elite.
What?
We have elite too, but we're watching that very closely. But we have certain types which are very powerful and very good, and we have an unlimited supply, and so we're in great shape. But with that being said, we always want more. We have to have more. We have other things maybe come up. You maybe come up and maybe don't come up. Hopefully nothing else does come up. But we're in very good shape. We have literally massive amounts of ammunition. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a president for morons, dude.
Mr. President, on Ukraine, President Zelensky says
they might have more, they might not have more. Who knows?
This country desperately needs long-range missiles or those Patriot missile batteries. Is that something that you're
Well, I mean,
considering?
we want missiles too. You know, when Biden gave him so much, Biden gave $300 billion worth of ammunition. You know, when I left, it was full, and he gave a lot of it away. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're using munitions.
No, the stocks never were depleted under Biden. The stocks are depleted because of Trump's war with Iran. Okay, and it's crazy. But yeah, anyways, there's a side note with Ukraine right now and how bad it's going. Is they all recently just welcomed Laura Loomer to come report in Ukraine, as if like she can reach a right-wing MAGA audience and give them the truth. Give them the truth about Ukraine. She's gonna do it. Yeah, how's that going? Didn't even make a counter statement to what Trump said, did she? Did she say, well, Trump, no, actually, what I've seen, dude. Charles Downs, dude. Killed off the spot 20 minutes before the interview. She's crying because Fox News doesn't want to platform your Ukraine stuff. Nope, nothing to counter Trump's lies about Ukraine here. Nope. No, she's pushing back against Stephen Miller in Qatar. Democrats for Mike Rogers, because even Democrats are getting sick. Wow. Democrats for Mike Rogers is crazy. Oh boy.
Munitions that are very powerful.
You thought Loomer got canceled? Not in the pro-Ukraine Western audience. They'll take anyone.
Powerful, very good, but we wouldn't have been using them. We could have used something else. But these are a little bit older type, equally as effective, and it's things that we have so much. Plus, we have supplies of munitions all over the world that if we ever needed them, we'd take that. We're supplied all over the world, but we're in very, very good shape.
Russia seems to have increased their attacks on
I
civilian
know,
areas.
yeah, I know.
Too bad. That's too bad.
Look, we're not involved from the standpoint we're separated by an ocean.
Wow. Yeah, congrats. Have you sold your soul? I want to play the Laura Loomer shit now. We can cover Ukraine now. Because this was such a fucking absolute cluster. And it's literally not even playing out for... it wasn't even worth it. Wasn't even worth it. You know, it's just a minute. I can't listen to an hour of Laura Loomer.
You know, this is a form of the Russian propaganda, this idea that Russia is the protectorate of Christianity. And we have podcasters in America. We have a very big problem with Russian disinformation. I personally believe that Russia is paying American influencers. If you ever get evidence of that, please give it to me.
Okay. We have the evidence. You were paid. You were a paid influencer. You were a RT influencer paid to disseminate information. What a bunch of shit. This is sickening. This is so sick, dude. This shit's just been the worst fucking thing ever.
Or please give it to the proper channels at the...
Or like we already know from Tenant Media, the big story that came out. That's what Zelensky's like, okay, like, if you want more, we got all the sources.
DOJ and the FBI, because I think that more Americans need to admit that they've been duped by Russian propaganda. I think that, you know, my hope is that coming here to Ukraine will open people's eyes.
Tim Pool started his journalism in Ukraine during Euromaidan in 2014. That's what's sick about him with Ukraine, is he started his journalism. And like I got him going covering the revolution in 2014. That's why these MAGAs are they're soulless and have no morals or ethics, like zero. So if you're going to court them, you're going to push good people away. You're going to push actual good people away because you're like, welcome to Kyiv, Laura. Insane, brother. Insane.
Is that, oh, well, maybe, maybe they aren't a country full of Nazis. Maybe our national security is going to improve if we have a strategic drone partnership with Ukraine. Well, maybe the Russians are paying off influencers who are pushing communism and anti-American sentiment.
Communism. Russia is not.
And falsely accusing Donald Trump of being a pedophile.
Falsely accusing Trump. So in this interview, she just spews her. Truly pathetic, dude. Pathetic. Wow. So there's been people that have been waiting years to sit down and talk to Zelensky. And then he gives Laura Loomer the time. And just in that minute clip, it's just her spewing. And then running cover for Donald Trump and getting Zelensky to alley-oop that?
General Andre.
Incredible. Great reporting. Truly. And then clearly it works. It's working so well because she has the ear of the president. Oh, we need to welcome Laura. We can't we'll take anyone. We need all the support. We need more supporters for Ukraine. More. Yeah, it's going to go well in the MAGA base. That's where you want people for sure. That's where you want people. The people that don't have any empathy, that are literally saying that empathy is connected to connected to like suicidal empathy that Gad Sad will write about, that Professor Gertis would always quote in his videos. I don't know, maybe he stopped doing it, but Professor Gertis, who's a pro-Ukraine right-wing YouTuber, at least when I used to, would share this guy's videos out, or his takes, and he believes in this idea that there's the suicidal empathy and like expressing empathy for others. It will lead to that, and it's like how the right wing is going to replace the ability to care for anything other than themselves. So the people that believe that having empathy is bad, you're trying to court those people and get more of that crowd to support the issue in which you need empathy, because there is an ocean between us, and when Americans can wake up and not get bombed like Ukrainians are. So the idea that you're going to go after the crowd that lacks empathy altogether, and the few MAGAs that do support Ukraine, and it is very few, they're still supporting it. It's not like they're not supporting it. You're not reaching a new base. There is no base to reach with MAGA to support Ukraine, especially when their stated positions are to cut off any and all aid outside of the United States, period. Nowhere. No more aid. No money out. No money out at all. And then if you're coming from foreign countries, you're getting sent back. That's MAGA. And so the idea that Ukraine supporters and supporters of Ukraine think that courting MAGA and Trump supporters is like something that will help, you're a fucking idiot. And you need to stop. This has been a sickness in that base forever, since Russia invaded it. Have been just constantly trying to appeal further and further right, to the point where you have Laura Loomer now in interviewing Zelensky, and then Trump, who apparently she has the ear of, is saying the same thing he did when he ran for office 2 years ago about Ukraine, about how Biden gave them all the weapons they want. It's not really a big issue. I don't really care. And then when Zelensky has to go meet him, we're forced by all these pro-Ukraine influencers that just have their head up their fucking ass, but they're in the right because they support Ukraine. But on everything else, they have their head up their fucking ass. So whenever Trump meets Zelensky, we're forced to have this idea that Trump now supports Ukraine and he's going to help and I'm so tired of it. I'm so tired of it. There has never been a reality in which influential MAGA has supported Ukraine. Lindsey Graham does not fucking count, and he's also dead. Okay, he's probably killed for his support for Ukraine. Who knows? They probably killed him on the way home because they're like, we really do not want to support Ukraine anymore, Lindsey. You're dead. Wouldn't be shocked to me, because it truly was kind of out of nowhere that Lindsey Graham was dead just after his trip to Ukraine, which again, he wasn't doing much anyways. But the idea that you were going to get a MAGA base to support Ukraine is insane to me. Actually insane, and I've been saying it since day one, which is why I was cast a black sheep, because I wasn't willing to open the door and welcome in a bunch of fake losers that don't actually even support anything other than this man that you see on the screen with Donald Trump and themselves. God damn, dude. It's almost like you should listen to Americans that understand American politics. But there's this geopolitical clusterfuck that have no idea, that just think America is just full of stupid people. And I understand. I get it. I get it. But there actually is a large portion of our country that do know what the fuck's going on and that do have correct takes on mostly everything. We could disagree on some stuff, but when it comes to understanding Donald Trump, understanding that MAGA cult, understanding the situation in the United States, and we're right. Okay. And like having this existence of, well, we need to have a big tent with when it comes to a war to get people that literally are receiving Russian propaganda to the fucking blood vessel by choice. By the very people that are interviewing the president of Ukraine from Laura Loomer. Because it's more comfortable. Because that propaganda is more comfortable. And they're choosing that. Okay? And it's been 4 years. Like America's just, we have another Trump term. You think America is like now willing to have this, like, oh God, now I understand Ukraine. Now I get it. Now I understand. We just needed a Trump presidency to show. Get the fuck out of here. If anything, look at it. Their interest has been in Israel and continuing to further war in Israel. Trump's only continued to cut off Europe more and more to the point of him threatening to invade European countries. It's insane. Or pulling out of NATO. It's just like I think it's neocons and neolibs that just don't understand reality. That's what it is. They don't understand reality at all. And they just want war forever. Like war will solve everything. And that's that. And like, as long as we get the most amount of people to support the war cause, everything will be good. No, that's not how that happens. And the political, and then if anything, also the internal decisions by Zelensky have not been good either. Firing the defense minister, which triggered massive protests in Ukraine. Still hopes to return as defense minister. He was dismissed as defense minister because of, what was it? Syrskyi. Which Syrskyi was a problem for years, and everyone inside of Ukraine knew that Syrskyi was going to be a problem with his type of leadership and how he's like got beat grinder mentality. So you have that going on and like massive protests taking place. Ukraine's out of air defense systems. So when the reporters are asking Trump, like, we're out of air defense systems, I feel like another part of it was we used all of our air defense and just absolutely full sent into Iran, knowing damn well we weren't going to do much anyways, just so we would not be able to support Ukraine or Europe at all, and have an excuse to say, well, we can't support, we have no weapons, because it's like doing two things at once, taking us out of being able to support Ukraine literally, but also furthering Israel's goals, which is a constant, right? That's a constant thing. But I mean, yeah, you can promise, and you got this whole base of people stringing them along forever, and they'll just keep going. And oh, Trump will support now. He'll do it. He said, oh boy, did you hear the latest Trump? He said he's going to help Ukraine now. He's going to do it. And we've been doing that for like 2 years now, over 2 years. I haven't been, but people that support Ukraine with their ever soul will do that. And it's sick. Trump has no interest in supporting Ukraine. But also, yeah, I feel like them depleting all air defense capabilities in Iran and using virtually all of its long-range precision missiles is absolutely like a way out of supporting Europe as well. It's like two things were accomplished.
What our data suggest is that the U.S. is running low on these long-range missiles that are extremely accurate. And what that means in turn is that the U.S. might have to turn to alternate methods of fighting the war in Iran, which could bring American lives closer to the front line. Presumably, we'd see more fighter jets, we'd see more bombardments from the air. And so it leaves the administration with a big question, right? How do we continue to fight the war in Iran in a way that is both effective and also doesn't risk as many lives? And one thing we know they're looking at is trying to ramp up production of the long range missiles, right? And so they're talking.
So they need that's why they need the 28 billion. That's why we need the money. The U.S. Army's used most of its global stockpile of highly accurate long-range missiles during its 5-month war with Iran, according to 3 people familiar with the data, raising concerns about the military's readiness. So all this, yeah, I mean, and then the administration will say, we have the record amount of soldiers. Yeah, they're going to get sent to the meat grinder. They're going to get sent to the mountains of Iran and just get taken out. The missiles are principally the Army's surface-to-surface weapons known as the ATACMS and precision strike missiles. The U.S. has used virtually all of these weapons, according to 2 of the sources. The degree to which the military is running out of ATACMS and precision strike missiles has not previously been reported. The long-range munitions, which cost more than $1 million each, are an important part of the military's arsenal, allowing accurate strikes from a safe distance. U.S.-supplied ATACMS have played a key role in the war in Ukraine, allowing Ukrainian forces to attack targets inside of Russia. The PRISM is a newer, more advanced generation that will replace ATACMS, which have a shorter range. The dramatic rundown in precision long-range missiles means U.S. President Trump may have to rely more on riskier piloted bombing missions if he relaunches large-scale attacks on Iran. The sources declined to say how many of each munition the U.S. had left. Trump launched the Iran war jointly with Israel in February, predicting that the conflict would last a short time, even though everyone said that it wouldn't. That's why no president did it, because it would not be a short war. As the war drags on, 3 people familiar with the matter expressed worry that the falling missile supplies could limit the U.S. ability to deter adversaries, including Russia and China. A 4th person familiar with the matter said that despite the high usage of precision weapons, the U.S. can resupply. Central Command, which oversees U.S. forces in the Middle East, has been able to reload from U.S. military supplies around the world. Yeah, because they need to give them all to Israel. You got to protect Israel. Running out of supplies because they keep bombing Iran. And then all those soldiers that keep joining the military are just going to get sent and get used as cannon fodder. Actually crazy. Winning so much.
President Trump has denied reports that the United States is now short of missiles because of its war with Iran and threatened to jail any journalists who say so. The White House and Pentagon rejected reports by the Reuters news agency that the U.S. had used up virtually all of its precision-guided long-range missiles during the conflict. Mr. Trump claimed the U.S. still had huge stockpiles of ammunition. President Trump had...
Right. Just not going well. Not going well. We got, I think Preston Stewart made a video. He changed the title. Time to walk away. No, it's the same one as strategic U.S. defeat.
So the United States is stuck in Iran right now with no clear path to accomplish our objectives anytime soon.
Super leftier video.
Despite the bluster coming from the White House, it doesn't seem that Washington wants to escalate this conflict to try to force Iran's capitulation, if that's even a viable option. And in 5 months, Iran hasn't given an inch in regards to their denuclearization, their proxies, or missile programs, and have now actually added a new term that they, from here forward, will control the Strait of Hormuz. In fact, some skeptics are now referring to this war as a strategic U.S. defeat, which I personally think is a little premature, but unfortunately, I can see how they got there. So let's get into it. Overnight, President Trump announced that he was calling off the next wave of U.S. strikes because a deal was close at hand. How many times have we heard this at this point? 5, 6, 7, 8? I've lost track.
6, 7.
I've lost track. And the big issue here is that Iran doesn't take these threats at face value anymore. So President Trump earlier today or late last night said, quote, "The USA is locked and loaded and ready to go against the Islamic Republic of Iran at levels of military terror, strength, and power not seen since World War II. Despite this, we have just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack and that the parameters.
He's been threatening journalists with jail.
Of a deal has been agreed to. This would include the immediate, complete, and total opening of the Hormuz Strait and an end to Iran's nuclear threat."
Thank you for the 6-7
All
jewels.
Take that at face value. That's, it's on the path to victory, right? Let's get that straight back to what it was before the war began. Free and safe passage, no strings attached, and the end of Iran's nuclear threat. I mean, that was one of the key reasons for going to this war in the first place. All right? Sign that document. Let's get this thing sorted out. The problem is, when you get into the details, I'm just not sure any of this is real. So Israeli Channel News said that the Iranian foreign minister agreed overnight to a compromise formulated by Qatari and U.S. mediators where vessels entering the Gulf through the Strait of Hormuz would be from Iranian territorial waters, and those exiting would be through Omani territorial waters. Now, that sounds an awful lot like Iran having control over the Strait of Hormuz, which is something we're trying to avoid. That's not good. Again, that's their new term that Iran has added to the negotiations. But I'm not going to spend any more time digging down that rabbit hole because I don't think it's real. I mean, in that same article, the Fars news agency, Iranian news agency, rejected the claim, saying, quote, "There is no agreement whatsoever regarding the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and the reports published on the subject are false. As long as the U.S. continues its aggressive actions, the Strait of Hormuz will remain blocked, and the passage of vessels will be possible only on the declared routes and with the permission of the Revolutionary Guard's naval force." We are in a spot right now that I hate, and it's that I trust the Iranian assessments of these negotiations more than those of the United States.
Damn.
To be clear, Iran has made some wild claims from the beginning of this conflict about the shooting down of countless F-35s, and regularly they state that U.S. casualties are through the roof, like into the thousands, and aircraft carriers getting hit and all that. But when you look at their statements around the diplomatic track, who's taking part, when the talks are happening, what has been agreed upon or not, historically, from the beginning of this conflict, the Iranian assessments have been much closer to reality than those from the United States.
This is Preston Stewart, guys. He actually does a really, really good job breaking down war and conflict in a way that won't make you mad, because a lot of right-wing chuds do it, and Preston is not. So this is Preston Stewart's YouTube channel. I've interviewed him.
Because on the U.S. side, it's constantly overly optimistic. We're right on the verge of, this one, opening the Strait of Hormuz and ending the Iranian nuclear program. Really, just like that. Just took another threat of carrying out strikes in Iran, and they ceded on like the number one issue. That's crazy, right? Historically, over the last 5, coming on 6 months now, Iran's statements that these things are not in the negotiations, they have not agreed on these things, and they have not given in any number of regards, has proven to be much more accurate. Now, one of the issues here with all of this is that it's not just our allies and some here in the United States that kind of laugh off these threats. Iran does too. So we're losing leverage in these negotiations the more times we make these threats and then don't follow through. Benjamin Talablu of Foundation for Defense of Democracy says, quote, "Tehran is likely to see this one way, Trump backing down, and that's dangerous." Now, when you step back and look at it, it really appears like the United States does not want to escalate the conflict in Iran. And I can understand why. It comes with significant cost. I mean, for one, we do appear to have a shortage of defensive munitions. We definitely have fewer than when we started this conflict. And as we talked about in a recent video, whether you agree with the CSIS assessment of 800 Patriot interceptors remaining or not, we certainly have fewer. And the more we go all in with Iran, the more we are borrowing from the future and saying this conflict right now is more important than whatever might come up in the next 2, 3, 4 years.
And it's not. And it's not. Promise you, it's not. Israel's garbage is not.
Because it's going to take a long time to backfill that shortage. So that's one, no doubt. The other thing here is all of our regional allies are taking...
That's why we need to cut off all weapons and funding to Israel. No defensive weapons, no nothing. It's got to stop.
A beating, right? There's a number of facilities throughout the Middle East that are not as well protected as U.S. bases. Even the U.S. bases in Jordan recently have been on the receiving end of Iranian missiles that have gotten through U.S. air defense and killed American service members, so it's not without cost there either. But our allies in the region recognize that if we really ramp it up against Iran, they are going to be on the receiving end, which is probably why President Trump in his statement said that they heard from a number of our allies throughout the Middle East. What did he say? We've just been asked by Iran and other Middle Eastern countries to hold off any attack. Yeah, because Iran still has the missile and drone capabilities to carry out significant strikes throughout the region. And they're not really trusting that we are actually going to follow through with our threats. And we don't have to go back very far to find this. Just on July 22nd, President Trump said that for every ship hit by Iran in the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. Guess what didn't change? Strikes on ships in the Strait of Hormuz. All right, according to the United Kingdom Maritime Trade Organization, they just put out some warnings saying on July 31st, a ship was struck by an unknown projectile. August 1st, a tanker reported seeing a large splash and explosion in close proximity. Throughout the last 10 days or so, since President Trump issued that threat, we've seen a number of tankers be turned around, not fired upon, but turned around by the IRGC. So they hear these threats and they just don't take them at face value anymore. That has a serious impact on our negotiating stance. So again, it's pretty clear Iran has not given in on any of the key issues we started this war. Let's walk through them real quick. The nuclear program, no concessions that I've been able to see, or even they're being presented at the negotiating table.
Zero.
In fact, there's some arguments right now that the new Iranian regime is more likely to pursue a nuclear weapon based off these past 5 months than Khamenei was at the start of the war before he was killed. The proxy forces. Nothing really has happened there. In fact, there was some reporting just a couple days ago that Iran used the ceasefire to meet with their proxy forces and discuss what a coordinated attack against the United States would look like if hostilities resumed. They're still there. All right. And the Houthis just within the last couple weeks kicked off a blockade of Saudi Arabia in the Red Sea. So the Iranian proxy forces still there, certainly not defeated or gone by any stretch of the imagination. The missiles, yes, we've hit a number of launchers. We've likely buried a fair amount underground. But in recent days, we have seen that Iran still has the ability to launch enough of these missiles to get through, if nothing else, U.S. air defense at strategic locations throughout the Middle East. That's a problem.
And that's a problem, too, when we're depleted and our bases are not going to be able to shoot these down.
So the missile
which will result in even more deaths that you'll read of caskets coming home.
Program's still there. The proxy forces are still there. The nuclear program's not being addressed. And of course, now we have the added little variable of the Strait of Hormuz. All of this is leading to some analysts referring to this as a strategic defeat. This was an article the New York Times will have published in the link in the description below, where they say to America's allies, President Trump's war in Iran, now in its 6th month, seems headed for a strategic defeat. They quoted Robert Niblett, the former director of the Chatham House, who called it a strategic loss and an embarrassment, adding, quote, for U.S. allies and for those who rely on the U.S. for security, this is confirmation that you cannot trust the United States. People won't forget that their security and their future were dragged into question by an unpredictable and wavering U.S. foreign policy. Ali Vaez, the Iran project director for the International Crisis Group, said, quote, this is the crisis of credibility of the United States. Neither its military prowess nor its diplomatic promises can be trusted. And Aaron David Miller, a former American negotiator and now a senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, said the conflict, quote, has undermined U.S. deterrence and credibility, antagonized America's allies, and delighted its adversaries. Now, you kind of expect some pushback on anything President Trump does from the New York Times. I get it. But we're seeing this from across the aisle right now. We've seen more criticism on Fox News, more criticism from some of the independent outlets on the right. Mark Dubowitz, FDD, and no doubt an Iran hawk, kind of called all of this back in May. And he just re-upped this a few days ago. So again, Dubowitz talking about what to expect if we went down the path we are currently headed down. Quote, if President Trump agrees to a 60-day ceasefire extension based on vague Iranian promises to discuss nuclear issues, it's game over. That pushes the crisis into late July or early August, when major military operations become far less likely ahead of the midterms. Once the military leverage disappears, meaningful nuclear concessions disappear with it. Ballistic.
I don't know. It wouldn't be against Trump's and MAGA's nature to launch a new phase of a war during the midterms, and then they could enact martial law by saying, well, we need to protect, we got threats of Iran coming in. We got threats of Iran. We can't have the elections. We need ICE agents, and we need all the, like, I don't know. I wouldn't count it out. It would be like the perfect distraction for them, honestly. Like, it's not beyond what they would pull off.
missile restrictions will be non-existent. Iran will get billions in sanctions relief while repeatedly using Hormuz as a tool of blackmail. Tehran will have won at the negotiating table what it lost on the battlefield. That seems pretty spot on. Is that not exactly where we are right now? We're into August, right? The beginning part of August here, and it does look like military operations are less and less likely. We've seen probably 2 or 3 kind of walkbacks in recent weeks. And in turn, we have Hormuz being used as a tool of blackmail. Dubowitz, that I think he nailed it there. That's exactly where we sit right now. Now, something I do want to stress is this isn't black or white, right? We send 100,000 troops on the ground to invade Iran, or we walk away with our tail between our legs and it's a strategic defeat. There's a ton of gray area and different routes that could be taken. One of those that still could be pursued is the blockade. I would argue that the blockade, first off, it is having an impact on Iran, will continue to have an impact on Iran. I would argue that it probably would have been more effective carrying that out before hostilities began, because in the middle of a war, it's just kind of hardened the Iranian resolve. And if we look at the economic sanctions placed on Russia during their war with Ukraine, yes, it has an impact. No, it didn't in the war. And it's not something that happens fast. So maybe over time, though, the blockade and the sanctions could have a serious impact on Iran and maybe get them to concede on certain aspects. But to think that right now, in the middle of a shooting war, is going to get them to surrender, it's just not realistic. And in the meantime, Iran's going to be able to hold on to that. As we blockade Iranian ships, their shutdown of the Strait of Hormuz is probably going to inflict more pain and damage on the U.S. and the international economy than we are willing to sustain than they are over that same period of time. So
exactly, which is why Trump's getting hit with affordability, and it can be directly tied to. I mean, it's a problem in general. The truth is, it's a problem in general, but MAGA will never say that, because then they'd have to admit that capitalism is a problem. But now you're going to be able to have Democratic candidates, if they are smart, will say Trump's war in Iran and Republican support for it is continuing to harm the affordability in the country, which it is. It's making it exponentially worse. It's made it exponentially worse. That's Preston Stewart, guys. And the reason why it was quiet was because the sound was only coming out of one ear. I think he messed up his audio in his YouTube video upload. Guys, there was a brand new update for Ghost Recon Wildlands, so I might be playing that later. You guys see this? My gaming audience. I think we're going to be playing Ghost Recon tonight. This game came out in 2017.
Your target goes by the name of La Llorona. It's a moniker taken from a folktale about a woman who drowns her own children.
Sweet.
What the heck?
Those fanatics are her vapor
What the heck?
Get to them.
New Ghost Recon Wildlands in 2026? It's in 60 frames now? Yeah, we're going to be playing Ghost Recon Wildlands tonight. Team composition? Why do they update? So they're updating all their... What the hell is going on? Yeah, who knows? Looks slop, you don't know what you're talking about. That's okay. It's okay not to know what you're talking about. But this is actually peak Ghost Recon, if you've ever played it. So I'll be playing that later tonight, guys. If you guys want to come hang out, some non-political, non-news content on my gaming channel. Okay, we've been playing Spider-Man. I'll probably give that one a break just to play Ghost Recon tonight. Play that. It'd be fun. So Mercado Gaming tonight, guys. I'll schedule it later because I'm going to go out and do some BP. I guess I don't have that channel on there. And I will stream it. So obviously I can rewatch it myself so I can see what I'm doing wrong. And also a couple of friends. There's going to be me and a couple of friends from the team. I'm about to go out and do some BP and stream it on my softball channel. Yeah, I'm gonna go do some batting practice. I'm gonna be playing in World Series in Ohio. I'm going down to Ohio, in Columbus, Ohio, at the end of August and September, beginning of September. So I'm gonna be playing in a big softball tournament, and then we also have our tournament this weekend, and I want to practice. Because I've been hitting like buns. Been hitting like super buns. So I'm going to stream on my softball channel, go out and exercise, do some BP with the fellas. All right, so you guys come check that out. But then later, if you guys want to hang out, I'm going to be playing the Ghost Recon Wildlands update that came out of nowhere on my gaming channel. So Mercado Gaming, Renegade Softball. Just click the link. Oh, they're also on the homepage of Mercado Media at the bottom. All right, so Renegade Softball on YouTube, Mercado Gaming on YouTube. Also on my gaming channel, you guys, I do have a documentary of my time in the military. So if you guys ever like, oh, Mercado's fake stolen valor. So you say you didn't serve. I literally like on my gaming channel, and I wish I could get it over to my main channel, but I don't know how to do that. But I literally filmed a documentary of what my life in active duty military up in Alaska was like. So if you guys want to watch it, it's about a half hour long. Made that 10 years ago. Jesus, 10 years, a whole decade ago, I put that on YouTube. But yeah, come check it out, y'all. Appreciate you. See you guys later. Peace.
Blood on the wheel, blood on the sea, blood on the hands of all the ones that lie. Storms are coming, best to get to running, or stand your ground once the bullets fly. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. When you meet your maker, you can ask him why. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die.
They just let them do it. They just let them fucking gas us. It didn't stop them. They didn't stop them. They didn't give a fuck. Seriously, guys?
They'll kill your mama. They'll kill your daughter. They'll kill your wife and your auntie and your sister too. Nah, they don't care none. Badges, they don't wear none. But soon enough, we'll all be shooting back at you. Really ain't a fucking thing you can do. We got way more guns, we got way more goons. If we stand our ground when the bullets fly, they call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. When you meet your maker, you can ask him why. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die. They call me Big Papa 'cause I'm ready to die.
You better get fucking ready. You better wake up. If you think this shit's fucking just some social media shit, you ain't paying attention. 3 things are true. Number 1, the black community told us this shit for years. We didn't listen. Number 2, ICE is a white supremacist wet dream. And number 3, the government's not going to save you.
Thank you. Was that